All right, back at it for another week at Kent Island High School. It's Mike Bradley, Shore Sports MD, and Overtime Live. It's our Preston Ford Game of the Week. This coming Friday, we've got Colonel Richardson hosting the Kent Island Buccaneers, and on location with Kent Island head coach Brian Sofanowski. Head coach first, last week, I know we talked about the fact you weren't getting much sleep leading into your first game. How was the experience, though, for you back as head coach of this Buccaneers program?
I guess it wasn't very good since Easton put a whooping on us. But it's just one of those things you have to live with. And we knew we were coming out of the gates kind of inexperienced, and every week we're going to get better. So, I think we're going to be okay. But getting back in the game is a lot of pressure in that. And I'm getting used to it.
It's a little bit of an adjustment, even for you, Coach, even though you've been doing it for a long time.
I've been out of it for a while, and I'm superstitious, so if we lose again, this is the last time I'm talking to you.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about the game last week. In that, what was, in your mind, the biggest factor as to why things didn't turn out the way that you would have liked?
Number one, of course, turnovers. You have 3 turnovers and a muff punt. It doesn't bode very well with the outcome, and they score on every one of those every one of those mistakes. 2, we gave up a lot of big plays, especially in the first series. It was 3rd and 24, and we gave up a first down to them. Again, you can't give up big plays like that, especially when they have players like they do. And when you can't stop their best football player, Kevin O'Connor, then it's a problem. So we have to tighten things down, and that's what we've done as a staff this week so far.
You guys have always been strong in the trenches, but credit Easton, especially their defensive line. They really came to play last week.
Yeah, they definitely controlled the offensive and defensive line, both sides of the ball, and that was a big portion of the game right there alone. Even though Casey and the O-line did establish themselves at certain points, but they were not consistent with it.
Coach, how have the kids responded so far this week in practice, and what's the theme going into Friday's game against Colonel Richardson?
They responded well. We had practice 8 o'clock Monday morning, and everybody showed up ready to go. There's no theme. All we have to do is worry about ourselves. If we worry about what we do and we get better at it each and every day, each and every practice, then we're going to get better as a team. And there's no theme. It's just us being us.
On the road for a second straight week with Colonel Richardson. I know you talk about taking care of yourself. So win or lose Friday, what do you want to see out of your team at the end of the game?
We want to be more consistent on both sides of the ball, and I think I want to see our passing game, take a next step up from what we did last week, because when your passing game is kind of not up to par and you're not being consistent, that can put more guys in the box, and that gives us a problem with Casey and the offensive line. So if we can spread them out a little bit, be more consistent in our play, we'll be good to go.
Certainly, a final question for you, Coach. Taking on a team like Easton week 1 certainly gets you battle-tested, though. You've faced one of the better teams in the Bayside Conference, so it's a good bar. It's obviously a good litmus test for the program and where you're at and where you need to be.
It is, but it's not going to define us by any means. And by the end of the season, we're going to be a completely different team. Hopefully by Game 5 we are. It was a good test for us, and it was also it put us, humbled you a little bit, going, okay, this is where we need to go. This is where we need to be. And hopefully, again, week in and week out, we get better.
So Friday night, it's Colonel Richardson hosting these Kent Island Buccaneers. Kickoff at 6. We'll have pregame show at 5:40. And don't forget about the Kona Ice tailgate party at 5 o'clock. All the action, of course, on 94.3 Winx FM, streaming at forevermidshore.com and on the Forever Radio app. And, of course, I'll have Overtime Live after the game. We're certainly looking forward to it, as one of these two teams will be getting their first win of the season. Coach, thanks so much for your time again. This is getting old hat here.
Thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Have a great week.
You as well. We're going to send it to Federalsburg. Taylor Walls is with Colonel Richardson, head coach James Jackson.
Thanks, Mike. And bringing to you live from Colonel Richardson High School, it's me, Taylor Walls, with Coach Jackson from Colonel Richardson. So, Coach Jackson, what are your expectations for this next game this Friday?
Just to get better from last week, survive. We're going up against a bigger school, so we just got to get better each week.
And what are your expectations for the offense and defense throughout this game to stay strong?
Clean up everything. Last week, offensively, we didn't move very well. Defensively, we got to get better at tackling, so we just got to clean up a lot of stuff.
And how are you motivating your kids to stay out there, even though they may be behind at some points? What do you tell to them to get that spark from underneath of them to get them going?
That we got to grow up each week. The only way you get better is to face tough opponents and practice hard each week.
Thanks, Coach Jackson. Don't forget the Kona Ice tailgate party is tonight here at Colonel Richardson at 5 o'clock.